Okay. And participants. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the first webinar of 2020 titled Handshake for Employers. My name is Mike Bisa, the Assistant Director at the St. Lawrence County Chamber of Commerce, and your host for today's webinar. So in today's webinar, we'll hear from Karen Kus, an Assistant Director in Career Services at the Lougheed Center for Applied Learning at SUNY Potsdam, as well as Toby White, Director of Experiential Education at SUNY Potsdam, about the internship recruitment platform called Handshake. So in about 30 minutes today, Karen and Toby will take us through the free platform and share how this will help businesses and organizations find quality interns from the local colleges and universities. Stay tuned until the end of the webinar today for a list of contacts at each of the universities, as well as an update on their current events. So, if you've been struggling with finding an intern, you've come to the right place. Real quick, before we get started, I want to thank our Leadership Circle member sponsors, Clarkson University and St. Lawrence University, for their continued support of the Lunch and Learn webinar series held monthly. A few notes: your mics have been muted and your webcams have been disabled. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to enter those in the chat window. Toby will be coordinating those, and if there's a good time to do that during the presentation, we'll ask them then. If not, we'll save those to the end during our Q&A session. The session is being recorded, and it will be available online through our member center at SLC Chamber after the webinar. So with that, let's jump in. Karen and Toby, you have the floor.
Okay, great.
Let's make you the presenter here.
All right, do you all see my screen here? Yes?
Got it.
Looks good.
All right, wonderful. Well, thank you very much for the introductions. We're really happy to join you all here today, as we're really excited to share different ways to kind of reach out to our local talent, especially at the 4 local colleges. And at Potsdam, I know we have a wonderful array of student candidates that are looking for prospective internship and job search opportunities. So we're really excited to show you how to navigate the platform Handshake as a means to really target those prospective candidates. Okay, so a part of what I do over here at Career Services is I do help with managing the employer relations components. And so Handshake is one of those key softwares that really kind of help be able to really target those prospective candidates, as also as a means to have a chance to actually post your job postings directly to the campuses. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about what Handshake does. To start, I do want to share that we have our upcoming career day that we would love for our local employers to come and join us. It will be held on Monday, April 6th. And I'm just going to show you quickly how to access that. So right here in front of us, we have our career services page. And so very easy, you can do a simple Google search of SUNY Potsdam Career Services to get to this page, or potsdam.edu/career. And so on this page, you can actually scroll down and you'll find on the left-hand side, there's an option to register for Career Day. So some of you may have attended our version of Career Day in the past. Before, it was called Economic Fusion. And so we've kind of changed it going forward. It's going to be primarily a networking session with our students. So as a means to serve as a mentor, but also, you know, maybe you can share some of your services. Last year at our Economic Fusion, I know a number of our students actually left with internship opportunities. So it could serve as a way to scout for prospective talent, but also a nice way for you to engage with other employers. So we have our first hour from 2 to 3 p.m. is our networking session with students. And then we invite all employers to connect and mix and mingle together from 3 to 4 in our employer reception. So very easy to register. The registration link is over here. If you just click under employers, and it has all the details about the event. And we really would love to see you all there. Okay. So, and I know Toby has a couple of things he will share with you at the end of some other ways to partner with our campuses. Career Day is absolutely one of them. But let's go into Handshake, because Handshake is what we're all really here for. So to start off, Handshake is a brand new platform. Not that brand new. I would say it's about maybe 7 or so years on the market. But I would say it's one of the hottest commodities in career services throughout the country. It's a growing in terms of popularity. You can see it at some of our conferences that majority of universities are starting to use it, mainly because of its user-friendly ability to kind of navigate the software. So what it really does is it allows the opportunity for employers to post internship and job opportunities, as well as experiential education experiences. And I'm going to kind of walk you all through in terms of how to make an account, and as well as how to post those opportunities and some of the other neat benefits that come along with this software. Currently, we have about over, I would say 3,000 plus employers on our system. And so the way it works is that once you make an account, you can actually really add other schools in there. And so we have jobs from all over the country, and we're really trying to get this on the radar of our local employers, because that's a great way to get up front in front of our students. Yes, so you know, I know in the North Country we have Clarkson, St. Lawrence. I'm not sure about SUNY Canton yet, but I know they're also using Handshake as well. So as much as, you know, we're promoting you guys to reach out to SUNY Potsdam students, I do also want to share the unique benefit that you can reach the other colleges in the area. So how this system really works, I find it really similar to, you know, using Indeed. But also I kind of look at it very similar to using like a LinkedIn, because you can even reach out to students. And so it's also a recruitment measure. Not so much of that networking component, but you can actually definitely recruit on here as well. So also I do want to share that there's an app available for using Handshake. So, you know, if you really want to keep track of your candidates that are coming in one by one, that's a nice way to have that in the palm of your hand. Okay, so I do want to start with like how to register. So if we go back to our career services page and you just click on information for employers, there's going to be an array of resources available for you. So you can easily just to access Handshake, you just go to sign in over here. But all the steps that you need is actually listed here. So let's say, you know, after this webinar that you forgot, like, what did Karen and Toby mention? I remember that, but you can't really find that spot on this webinar video. You can actually go into here and all the instructions are here. There's a lot of really good guides available in terms, for example, even creating an account. I won't go into much detail about how to create an account because it's quite straightforward. I will give you a little quick overview, but towards the end of this webinar, if you do want to stick around and you want to watch a video on how to make an account, we can definitely go back into here and you can actually learn step-by-step process of making an account, and including the steps of posting a job, but other ways to even connect with our students. All this information is here for employers. So I really do encourage some traffic to our webpage in terms of a step-by-step instruction. All right, so in terms of creating an account, so I would click register. Now I'm already logged in here, so it's gonna kind of bring me to the main page. So I'm just gonna show you how it would look like. So in terms of creating an account, you just select which type of account you're looking for, which is an employer, and then you would follow the prompting steps of your name, as well as your contact information and password. And then you can see on the left-hand side here that, you know, some of the universities that are partnered with Handshake. So just to give you a good sense in terms of who's on here, who's utilizing the software, and we really hope that you get a lot of benefit from this on your end. Also, the next steps in terms of creating an account, you'll notice here in number 4 that you would have to indicate your recruiting interest. So primarily the field that you're really looking for. So whether it's, you know, business and entrepreneurship or arts and design, and you can click several of those, and that will really help you kind of populate some of our home pages for our students. So if you're offering a number of different job opportunities, you know, you might be looking for someone in arts management, but maybe you're looking for a social media person. So you might want to click on a couple of these, and maybe, you know, you're affiliated with education. So you're welcome to click on several of those. And then it's going to ask you to fill in your alma mater. And you can easily just even add Potsdam here as well. And that's a really important step, because that's going to actually put you as with the initial school that you are that you're part of. And so once you do that with the registration, once you actually are in the system, you can actually add more schools as you go along, and I'll show you how to do that. And then there's also some employer guidelines. You should hear within the next 10 minutes to confirm your account. And then what happens from there is that it will be sent to the Career Services Office of that university, and they will approve your account. A very important step here, it's going to ask you to create a profile. And I want to talk a little about why you should really kind of take some extensive time in terms of creating a quality profile, because what happens is that the schools that will approve you as a prospective employer, they will actually vet you as an employer. So we don't just like click anyone and you're off you go, right? So we want to make sure that we are adding quality employers, legitimate employers in here. And so I'm going to go over in terms of what a good profile would look like in terms of expectations, so that you will receive a good trust score with the universities. All right. So going forward, so this is how it looks like once you've registered. You log in here, and then you will be brought to this page. This is your employer page. So like I just mentioned, that you need a good quality profile. So the importance of this profile, now mine's not done yet. So here's an example of pieces. You can do your own personal profile as an employer, but then there's a company profile as well. So this is very important in terms of being vetted by the local colleges, not even just local, any colleges that you choose to partner with. So being vetted, the way it works is that on our end for administration, you will receive a trust score. So for this trust score, it's kind of based on how many times you've been approved by different employers. So a good trust score is about 80%. So if you've been declined by a college, that could actually hurt your trust score. So a way to make sure that you have a good trust score, I have just a couple of tips so that you won't get flagged as an employer. You want to make sure that you include a working website, as well as an email domain that matches the company. So for example, you see here that my email is with Potsdam, as well as and how that aligns with the website and the company itself. So I would try to avoid Gmail. Sometimes it can still be approved, but that's really important. Also having a nice detailed description about the company, an accurate location, even if it's a remote position, you can still indicate that, but just be clear that the other components of your profile page is very important. So a good, like I said, a good company description, company email address, contact number, making sure that all lines up, and even a social media platform. Sometimes employers look at that, the schools look at that as a means for increasing your trust score. So the more filled out your profile is, the better. Once you even get in, you can always increase your profile. I will show an example later on the student end of what a good profile would look like. As that not only helps us for the trust score, but also helps students kind of get to know your company as well in terms of expectations. And you can always add pieces like the mission of your company, your mandate, all those types of components. So that's really the profile piece. All right, and so let's get to the fun part, posting jobs. All right, so here we go. You want to make sure to create a job. If to create a job is very kind of straightforward. You just click on this image over here, and you will have the two options. Whether you have your own external system, let's say you're part of a larger organization that you have your own system that you want them to apply for. For example, Canton Potsdam Hospital will probably have an external system that they want to link them towards, or they can even apply directly into Handshake. So if you don't necessarily have an external system where you manage emails, this could really save you a lot of time. I know I personally use this when I hire interns and student workers in my office. So it's a nice way to kind of capture all the application materials all into one spot, but as well as help you just kind of manage and keep yourself very organized. So you would just click apply in Handshake, and I'll show you what that looks like after the fact. And then you would just obviously put in your job title, test. Now, mind you, I'm going to follow this through step by step so you can see. You have the option to display your contact information. I do highly recommend that. If you're offering an internship or a job, again, these are a variety of other opportunities that you can post as well to get on the radar of students. And indicate the employment type, temporary, permanent, whatever your needs are. And now, again, it's not just current students. This is even alumni as well. So if you are hiring for a full-time person, this is definitely a great source to utilize this. All right, and so is this a work study? I would recommend putting no here because that's typically related to the colleges. On that note, I do want to mention a neat perk that Potsdam has. We use this platform for on-campus employment as well. So when students see jobs, they actually use this system quite frequently because they're looking for on-campus employment, and so they're really familiar with Handshake. And so what we really do is we encourage our students to use this platform as one of the first steps with any of their job or internship search process. So our students are very familiar, and then they kind of lean on to other platforms like Indeed and so forth. Okay, and then you would go into description. This is where you provide description of your posting, indicate some of your job roles here. So, I mean, you can see a variety of different disciplines here. Let's say you're looking for athletic trainer, and then how many students you might want to hire, if it's paid or unpaid for internship purposes, as well as like the job location. So you can put Potsdam. Does it require work authorization? Yes or no. And then any of the required documents that you would like from the candidates. Moving forward, you would on your third step is your preferences. And so what's really neat about this is one of the nice benefits, is that you can actually target who these postings are going to. So if you're looking for, freshman or sophomore for some of your volunteer internship opportunities, you can definitely search for those. If you're looking for, a senior who is embarking on graduation, you can actually filter your job posting accordingly. So our system is already synced to our students. So whatever gets populated to their home page, it will be gravitated to those students that, and alumni that belong in those cohorts. You could include a GPA as a minimum as optional. So again, students that have their GPA posted, it would help gravitate towards their homepage. And then the other sort of major categories that if you're looking, let's say for athletic trainer, you might want to look under health professions, and you can filter by there. And then from you can actually look at applicant package recipients. You might not necessarily need to use that piece as much, but also like who do you want this to be sent over to? So you have a couple of options. You can email a summary of all applicants at once it expires, or one at a time. So it depends where you are in your interview stage in your process. So if it's, let's say you want to know like who's coming in, you're really desperate to hire someone quickly, you might want to click email every time a new student applies. Or if you're waiting for the final deadline, obviously do the other way. And so once you've done all those steps, this is where you can start to add other schools. So you can actually search by schools here. I will show you how to add other schools in the system on the left-hand side as well. So if you do want to add schools like Clarkson and St. Lawrence and so forth, you can always add the schools separately here, and then it would be added to your favorites list. If you want to find more, you can just click on Find More here, and this is a great way to find the schools that are using Handshake. So if I want to send my job posting to Clarkson, just type in the search for Clarkson and then click request, and then I'm done. I'm not sure if Clarkson's on the call, so I don't know if they would improve me as an employer. So I will leave that as be.
Sure they would.
All right, so I'm just gonna go back here. It's not letting me. There we go. One more step. So what it did, it actually brought me right to the school page. And so you might want to do this ahead of time prior to. So if I want to kind of add Potsdam to my favorites, I can easily do that. And then you can go back to your jobs and conclude what you're doing. All right, so I may have just lost it here. Okay, I skipped something. It didn't bring me back to it. So a high recommendation is doing that ahead of time. And then it would give you an option to preview how your posting looks like, and then you're done. Okay, do we have any questions on this?
Other than questions, Karen, I'm just going to add a couple things on my side. And good afternoon, everyone. I'm just following Karen here with a couple things on the internship side. So when the employment comes through, fine on all our employers coming through, but when you're making that internship selection, I would only say on when you're posting the job, for me, spend a little bit of time on that job description. And why that is because, you're looking at it's only going to be, maybe a part-time position as the internship. Could be 16 to 20 hours per week. This is what we're going to be having you doing, because when my students go on Handshake to search, they're looking at, for example, a local internship at Potsdam and in a certain major. So make sure that the industry is really matching what you're looking for, so we can really, when students go on and search, my world is really about, students searching for those local internships, as that's why we're doing this today, because they'll use the system to search for many internships outside of this area. But when they go local, they're looking Canton, show me the available internship, show me Potsdam, show me Ogdensburg, and they really search that way. And then if it's in the industry, I really work with them on working on the industry at the same time. So just pay a little bit of attention to that second piece that says the description of the job. I call it, the internship, really, the description of the internship, and then set it that way would be great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That also helps with your trust score too, as well, if you have a nice detailed description of the job. So I showed you the steps. So it's very straightforward in terms of creating a job. But this is now if you go back to the job page, you can actually manage the job postings all in this section. So you can see here's some of the positions that I've personally posted. I won't necessarily click on all of them because those are actual candidates in there. Actually, I can show you the employee relations job example. So when you open it, you would actually find all the applicants. And so right over here in the middle will be listed everyone that applied for the position, and you can actually click on their application materials, and it will give you the option to invite them for an interview, but you can even click whether or not they are accepted for the position. We personally love it when you do that, if you can go back into the system whether that person was hired, because that actually helps us with assessment tracking and making sure that we're really supporting our employers effectively, and whether or not our Potsdam candidates are landing positions within your organization. All right, so this is where it would actually all come home to in terms of all the applicants, and you can always even filter. Let's say you have a bunch of different applicants and you want to filter by specific candidacy, you can do so. But really, this is a place to actually have home to all of your different postings. And so currently I don't have anything active. You can see different these are my expired positions. But once you click on this section for applicants, you can get the whole list and start managing it that way. So it's a really neat tool. You don't necessarily have to chase students with emails and so forth. It's a nice, smooth way to kind of track applicants. All right. Also, let's talk about some other perks that you can use for the system. So you can actually even search for students. And so all these students have actually made their profiles visible. So they've actually gone out of their way to actually, you know, start to sell themselves, brand themselves in the hopes to possibly be recruited from employers. So if you're looking for a student who is, let's say, a senior, who's planning to graduate, what type of major category, let's say music education, you know, their majors and the graduation dates, you can filter until, and you can actually find students that are hoping to be actually reached out by an employer. So you can actually, if you see, I apologize if I'm moving my screen, my little camera here on the right-hand side is kind of covering up this side of the computer for me. But you can actually click to message them. And if you have a job posting that you would like to get on their radar, you can always reach out to them in this regard. All right. And like I mentioned with the job search posting, I would add these schools to your favorites. So this is a schools page. I mean, you can really add any university here. Well, that's obviously using Handshake, of course. Do I have a space?
Sometimes it's without the period. I'm not sure if that.
Maybe. Lawrence, how about that? No?
It should be there.
I know they're there. I'm not sure why that's not working. Oh, you know, my apologies. Okay, so this was my mistake. If I'm under the favorites category, so let's look at more schools on Handshake.
There you go. There it is.
It looks very similar. Innocent mistake there. Okay, so there we have St. Lawrence here, and you can always add them as a school as well. And so you can always see which schools you have a pending approval status. Again, that's going back to your trust score. Which schools you have been declined by, which ones are in progress, and which ones you obviously haven't requested yet, which would be a lot, I could imagine, in that category. So you can also filter that way as well. You can see which schools that you're personally partnered with, and then you can obviously create your own favorites category. Again, they all look very similar here. So make sure to click on the more schools on Handshake if you're hoping to add other schools. And so once you've been approved by these employers, every time you create a job posting, you can just click which schools you would like those postings to directly go to, and your job is kind of done. So it makes your life a whole lot easier for sure. And then a couple of other things. I mean, your contacts, you can definitely fill that in. At Potsdam, we're not necessarily using this interviews and fairs section on the side. If you would like to host on-campus interviews, we do recommend that you contact our office and we can help coordinate that. We do have an interview room available on campus. So if you are interested, please contact us directly. The fairs are growing, but you can always use the event section as well. We do ask that you can actually make them very career related. So you can actually post an event. You can request an event over here and even fairs. So let's say you have a networking event available for students, or you have an open house at your organization. You can definitely add an event, and that will be available for our students. Okay, any questions so far?
I just had one note to add to this. When the smaller businesses are building their company profiles, oftentimes they may not have a website, or sometimes they don't have a social media account too, but still may, benefit from having an intern and vice versa. If you do fall into that category, remember that if you are a chamber member, you can use your webpage on our site, and we can help you create a vanity URL so that you can include that, and your trust score will still be at the top. And in that same regard, if they have a Gmail account, for example, is there a place that they can kind of input some additional notes about their company?
I think if you have a really quality description of the company, you should be good to go. Now, I understand sometimes, local employers, you might not have necessarily a website available, or you might be relying on Gmail. You could always even contact the schools directly, especially locally, and just let them know, because just to prevent a reduced trust score. And so sometimes they could, if you just talk to them, they might be able to accept you.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Karen.
Great. All right. So any questions before I move forward on just how to post a position or some of the other perks for the employer pieces? I think I covered all the grounds here. So I do want to show you one other key piece is what do even students see, right? So that's really important of how this looks like. Now, I'm not going to go to the administrative side of this page because that would be very intimidating. But let's just take a look at the student's account of what they would see. So this is the student page, and you can see that they have access to all the different jobs, events. Like I said, in terms of the events, they might be able to see a variety of different fairs. I mean, they're kind of widespread, right? And so even if it's remote, digital types of events, we definitely get that on the radar of our students. And we also post our events on campus here as well. And then also, there's a section for students to have a Q&A, so they have questions, but those pieces might not be relevant for you. Another piece of why students use Handshake on our end is they actually book appointments with our office directly through here. So again, there's a lot of traffic onto our Handshake platform. They look for on-campus jobs, they book appointments with our office. So they really try to log in and get on our radars as much as possible. And then so your positions might be very, very well be floating to the top. So if you just click jobs, I have a fake account, and I think I gave myself a wonderful 4.0 GPA average. So here's my account as a student. And then you can see that a lot of things that I might be interested as my fake student, they actually kind of populate right to the home page over here. So they can easily filter by job type, internship, on campus, full-time, part-time, by location as well. I do want to show you an example of what a good job posting would look like, as well as how a nice employer page would look very attractive. So here's IBM. We get a number of opportunities from them. We have strong partnerships. So there's a collection of jobs that they have posted right now for our students. And you can see that they give a nice quality detail about the position. Here you can see in green as a student that it matches my GPA, school year, and US work authorization preferences. So it syncs right automatically, so you're not going to necessarily find other candidates that might not be aligned with what you're looking for. And then so like I said about creating a nice quality profile, IBM did a really great job. And so this is a nice way to get traction from your students. So if they click on your company, this is IBM's profile account. Oh, sorry, I clicked on the wrong thing here. I should have clicked on the logo. So here is their Handshake account. You can see that they really took the time to make it very attractive, very marketable. They added some videos of their internship opportunities, employment perspectives, some stories from other interns, or the company's contact information, a bit about IBM, some questions and answers, and so forth. So you can even see who's worked there. So remember I mentioned earlier about when you're managing when you're managing your job applications and you indicate this person's been hired, this will actually help sync on your company's profile page as well, if the student has made their profile visible, of course. And then just some other neat things that this company has done in terms of indicating some news items, some other links to direct them to. And so this is what I would recommend if you would have the time for, is really kind of taking the time to make a nice profile, because you might be able to target some prospective students that way. All right, so any questions?
If you have any, feel free to just enter those into the chat box. But right now, Karen, I don't see any.
Okay, great. So I guess, Toby, if you want to share a couple of announcements. I'm all wrapped up on the Handshake end.
Sure.
I hope you all really take a lot of good use from this platform. We personally are very proud of using this system, and I hope you find some really good Potsdam talent. Okay, go ahead, Toby.
Great. If you just want to pull up that URL, I just have one quick announcement for everyone that's on. Coming up in April, if you want to mark your date here, if you can scroll down a little bit, Karen, for this. And soon, so you'll see we'll have the other colleges on soon too. So Clarkson and even Can that's on for now, you're coming in soon for this. So we're able, with one of our grants from our SUNY PIF grant, to bring in Robert Schindel and do a total internship management workshop, and this is going to be really good. What we did is we overwrote this to be the underwriter for this workshop. So just mark your calendars for employers, and even SUNY Canton and with SUNY Clarkson on right now. I don't think St. Lawrence is on. They'll be on soon. But what you can see on this on the bottom is with the underwriting, it's normally about $359 to $299 to attend this workshop. Robert Schindel is really well known in this work. So you can see we're only 75 profit, $50 nonprofit. So we really cut the price down with our grant to make this happen. So mark that on your calendars. A lot more coming soon on that. We'll be sending it out through Michael will be really on our team working with us with all the chamber employers, and then we'll get it out to all the other employers through the schools. So they'll be becoming you can see it's the associated colleges already, but the logos of the other schools will be on soon because they're going to help us with it also. Thank you, everybody. That's good for me.
Okay, great.
Thanks, Toby.
Yeah, and just another quick final reminder that our Career Day event is on April 6th, and so we do hope to see you all there. And that will be it's a Monday, and that's from 2 to 4 p.m. And so get ready to mix and mingle and meet some of our students. I know they would be very delighted to meet you all. If you have time right now, I'm assuming there's no questions at this moment, but I'm happy to show you a nice video in terms of how to make an account if you're interested. We do have 5 minutes at the very end of this webinar. So if you would like, you're welcome to stick around and follow along in terms of step-by-step of how to create an account. And I just want to say thank you, everyone, for joining us here today. We're really delighted to share this platform with you all, and really hope to partner with you in the future. If you would like to partner more with career services, we do offer tabling opportunities and other ways to get on the radar for some of our students. And that's it. So thank you very much. I'm just going to pull this up here if it decides to load for me really nicely.
Sorry, Karen. I think, Michael, you have a couple announcements from the school,
yes.
right, that you would like
No, thanks. So no worries. Karen, if you could make me the presenter real quick.
Sure. And I'll let this load in the meantime.
Cool. And I just wanted to add, the chamber, we've had probably 10 to 15 interns over the last few years, and we've used Handshake ourselves. It's easy to use, and we've had really good experience with our interns. So if you're hesitant or you have any questions about having an intern, feel free to reach out to us. We can definitely be a service there. And so I will show you a couple of events here. Next month on Wednesday, February 5th, we'll have an Instagram for Business webinar. We have Nicole Ouellette from Breaking Even Communications. That's really going to give you a breakdown of how you can use Instagram to power your business marketing. So stay tuned for that. You can register online at slcchamber.org. We also have a brand new event for 2020 that we're pretty excited about. We named it the Morning Buzz, Connections and Content to Inspire Your Work. So we'll meet at the Jernaby Coffee House in Potsdam on Thursday, January 23rd. We'll have coffee, tea, scones. We'll do some speed networking, a new kind of twist on how we usually network, so that should be fun. And we have a short presentation from Susie McBroom, the executive assistant to the CEO of Fraser Computing, titled Turn Overwhelmed into Organized. So if you had a New Year's resolution that you wanted to be more organized at work, this event will definitely help you. You'll walk away with a few things that you can immediately apply to your work life, home life, all that good stuff. So definitely encourage you to check that out if you have room in your schedule. SUNY Canton also has a few events, and we have the Director of Careers Services, Julie Parkman, on the webinar with us. So she is available if anyone has questions. I just wanted to let everyone know that they have a career fair for majors in engineering school on Tuesday, February 25th from 12 to 3 p.m. And they're also starting a nursing student recruitment on Fridays from February 7th to April 24th. Both are free and open to the public. And we'll send this information in a follow-up email after the webinar. Got that. What I wanted to show you. Okay, so these are the representatives for the Handshake platform in each of the universities. So you have Margot Jenkins that is also on the line. And a quick note about Clarkson is they have a co-op program for interns, which is they do a semester in industry and then a semester at school. And she is here, so if anyone has any questions, feel free to enter those in. And let's see here. And you have the other information here, Julie and Ann Clements from St. Lawrence University. And as I said, I'll send all this information after the webinar, so don't worry about writing it down. You'll have that in an email. But that is all. Thank you for joining us. I'll let Karen go back for those that want to stick around to see the quick video of how to create an account on Handshake. And just again, I want to thank our Leadership Circle members, sponsors, St. Lawrence University and Clarkson for sponsoring this. So I'll turn it back over to you, Karen.
Okay, great. Let me share my screen here. All right, so thank you everyone. But if you would like, please stick around and learn how to make an account. It will load. Okay.
It is hard to hear, Karen. I'm not sure if you unplug your, I don't know if it's going in through your headphones.
Yeah, it is. It's going through her headset.
Select employer as my,
All good, thank you.
and then input some information. Please be sure to use a corporate email address when signing up for an account. If you use a generic email address, you're more likely to be declined by schools when requesting it. Put in a phone number and a job title. Go ahead and click sign up. And Handshake's going to ask you a couple clarifying questions about the types of students you wish to recruit, and also give you the opportunity to add your alma mater in Handshake as well. Once we go ahead and select the types of students we wish to recruit, we can add our alma mater if we'd like. If it's not listed, you can type your own. And once we've set this correctly, we'll select next. This will populate the Handshake employer guidelines. Take a moment to scan through these. If you are a third-party recruiter working on behalf of another company, please select yes. If you are not, you will select no. Afterwards, select confirm email, and you'll be sent a confirmation email to the email address you used. If you're not receiving the confirmation email within 10 minutes, there's a couple of steps you can take. You can double check that you spelled your email address correctly when signing up. You can check your spam and junk folders. add Handshake at m.joinhandshake.com to your contacts, and you can also just try resending the email to yourself. If you're still having trouble, I would check with your IT department and have them whitelist Handshake. There might be a firewall that you're not aware of that they need to allow Handshake to send you emails. Let's take a look at what the confirmation email looks like. You're going to receive an email that looks like this, and you can select Confirm Email. This will take you back into your account so you can finish the setup process. Now, because we do recommend that you use corporate email addresses when signing up for your account, this will match you to your company if it is already in Handshake by using that email domain. So for example, because I signed up with drumsrus.com as my email domain, it's automatically matching me to drumsrus in Handshake. So I can go ahead and select Request. Now, if I didn't see my company listed in Handshake, I should see the option right here to create new company. It would be a blue button. It would be right around here. And it's pretty intuitive. It'll ask you to fill in all the fields for your company profile. So name of company, size, location, things of that nature. After you've either created your new company or requested to join your current company in Handshake, you can select Connect to Schools. This will show you all of the schools that are currently live and active in Handshake. You can search and filter by region if you'd like, or search and filter by name here at the top in this bar. We do recommend just starting off with a few schools, the ones that you're most interested in recruiting at, and branching out from there. So you can select the plus sign next to the name of each school to request approval at those schools. Once you go ahead and select your schools, you can select Next to finish the process. And as you can see, I am now logged in as an employer in Handshake, and I'm automatically connected to my company. The reason I'm automatically connected to my company is because in this case, my company has auto approve set up. This is only possible for small companies with one profile in Handshake. So if your company has multiple profiles or they may not have auto approve set up, you will need to wait approval from the owner of that company in Handshake. This video has walked you through how to onboard as an employer in Handshake.
I do want to share, if anyone is still on the line, the last step that indicate, if you saw at the very bottom here, of the fairs that are available.
Profiles, or they may not have auto approve set up. You will need to wait
over.
Approval.
If you see there that you can actually see which schools are offering a fair, so you can always contact those schools directly if you would like to attend some of their career fairs. Okay, great. Again, I just want to say thank you to everyone for joining us here today, and thank you, Mike, for the invitation. We're really happy to be part of this, and we hope to see you all on our platform. Great, thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you. A great presentation, Toby, Karen. Have a good day.